Hello and welcome to Horror Legend with your hosts
Legend.
and Chris. Oh my god, it's the first podcast.
We're here, we're queer, we're finally doing it.
We're finally doing it. And we watched Carrie.
Yes, the original Carrie.
The original Carrie. That was our first movie that we decided to review. And let's, talk about ourselves a little bit first, though. I hate horror movies. They scare me. They give me anxiety. I walk away from them and start and stop them over and over again because I just can't deal. And that's a great way to start a horror podcast. Legend, how do you feel about horror movies?
Well, I know you are having a hard time with the intensity most of the time. I live for it. I strive for it. I have loved horror since a very young age, from watching The Shining when I was about 7 years old. So that's really what kind of kicked that into gear a little bit. And now it's just, I love scaring myself.
I like scaring myself too. Do you know what? We're recording this on election day, so super, super scary.
Yeah. I think they even made an American Horror Story season about it.
I didn't watch it. Surprise, I didn't watch it.
It's called Cult. Just kidding.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I watched
was not a good season.
the first season of that, and I absolutely loved it. I did like that. I like camp. That's why I liked Carrie. I like camp.
I think if Murphy would have stuck with camp and not try to go completely off the rails, it probably would have stayed okay.
Yeah.
But today we are talking about the original Carrie from 1976, directed by Brian De Palma, who did movies like, Mission Impossible, first one with Tom Cruise, The Untouchables, The Black Dahlia, Carlito's Way, which was in the Scarface universe.
He did Scarface too. That's crazy. Yeah. I had no idea. First thing I want to say is that we are all Carrie. We are all Carrie. I felt her. Just at the very offset of it. I want to preface this by saying I have read the book Carrie, and it's wonderful. I will discuss the differences. There's a few of them. But seriously, the opening and just hearing that girl say, "Eat shit," that...
It's just abrupt and right off the bat.
Yeah, it set the tone. You know what also set the tone? The slow-mo nude scene of teenage girls.
Oh, I
that
actually
really set the tone too.
I have something about that because I feel like it set the tone in the sense that, like, hi, here are all these overly confident teenage girls, and then we're showing Carrie in the shower, and it's covering up her breasts and it's covering up her vagina.
Oh, but she was still feeling herself in the show.
Oh, she was. She was alone in her universe. I just felt like that was very showy, how it's like, yeah, we're willing to show everything, but with her, it was modest. It was we're hiding things. Like,
see, I got that, but it was still a very sensual slow motion.
100%.
Of fully naked. Not really, but pretending to be teenage girls, which set a weird tone for me personally. I was like, what is this? What am I watching?
And Carrie White, as you said, we all are, whether that's Carrie White, Carrie Black, Carrie Yellow, is of course played by Sissy Spacek, who...
Ooh, Sissy Spacek.
Spacek?
I don't know. That's how I say it.
She, I honestly forgot until close to the end of this movie how beautiful she was when she was younger.
She's really beautiful.
She has like that interesting look about her where she could be in different time periods and movies. And
yeah, she kind of looked like Joni Mitchell.
Oh yeah, I can see that.
Anyway.
I feel like she plays the character very well as like a closed off teenager. Thing is like I feel like they open with the period. I don't know if that's how the book opens, but
I think it does, from what I recall. Yeah,
she gets her first period in the middle of the showers in the locker room and gym, which, I mean, for any girl, no matter who you are, that's got to be horrifying.
I'm sure. I don't know personal experience, but
Especially back in the 70s when everybody made fun of you for no matter what you did.
Well, especially if your mother doesn't tell you about anything and says everything's evil. So, I kind of grew up like that, actually. But do you know what's really hilarious to me, too, is that at the same time period, and this is all I could think at the beginning, Pink Flamingos came out about the same time. And
that is a stark contrast.
It's such a stark contrast of someone, with a little bit of money making a movie and then no budget. But just the idea of that, like, those two things existing in the same time, to me, was odd.
It's true. And I mean, even now, compared to now, you can tell that making a movie back then cost a lot less money.
Oh, totally. Totally.
Than it does now.
But, like, talking about like Sissy Spacek and her amazing acting in this, I thought she was really good. She was like the one part of the movie that I was just like, okay, that's good. The most of it was campy to me, honestly. Yeah. Like, I felt it was very campy. I laughed quite a few times. But but her acting was just top notch in this movie. I thought it was really good. Yeah.
Yeah, she did a really good job. I don't know, playing this girl that is just confused, and it's not her fault whatsoever.
It's not her fault.
It's her overbearing religious mother, played by Piper Laurie, who does that beautifully.
What else is she in? I just know the name.
I always forget her other movies, but she is in Twin Peaks as I can't remember her character's name now. But she is in Twin Peaks. She is a major character in Twin Peaks.
So. Everyone listening needs to forget my full ignorance of actresses' names, what they're in, who directed it, when it came out. I know nothing. Sometimes I haven't seen many things, so just, bear with me. And Legend's seen everything, and he knows everything.
Usually I know a lot. There are some people I still forget some things about. In this movie, I really only know Sissy Spacek, however you say it. Piper Laurie from Twin Peaks, and, well, of course, John Travolta.
I did not know he was in this.
I swear this is one of his first movies, but I could be wrong.
I have some notes about that later.
I don't understand. I mean, you literally could have just not had his character in the movie.
He truly did not need to be in this movie. He didn't need to be in it. I'm going to skip ahead in my notes here.
I will say the girl who played the popular girl in it was real good at being a bitch, though.
Oh my god, she was so good. And I was sitting there thinking, are high school girls really this vicious? Like, really that vicious?
Stories I've heard from my mom from, like, 70s and 80s, like, going to high school, they can be sometimes.
Damn, okay.
But I don't know if that still warrants a teacher slapping a student multiple times.
I'm, like, wondering when that was outlawed. Because it seems so matter of fact in this movie. Like,
she
it
hits
just
her pretty hard. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm watching it and I just forgot how slap happy this movie was. I mean, even John Travolta, like, she says one thing to him, he just slaps her in the face, and somebody else gets slapped in the face, and I'm like, I guess this is just what we're doing right now.
Oh, that's what I wanted to talk about. Okay, since we were on the subject of John Travolta, he is getting, some mouth pleasure from his girlfriend in the car.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And her voice is, like, perfectly clear. Like, while she's doing it, she's talking. And she's either very talented or that was just a mistake.
Like, we can't understand you. We're going to have to do a voiceover over this.
It was like they dubbed it.
They dubbed it.
It's like watching a dubbed porn.
And I was like, is there anything in her mouth, or is he just not?
Oh my god.
Might say a little more about John Travolta than her, you know what I mean?
That's true. I'm gonna go back to closer to the beginning of the movie.
Okay.
And the very first time that she uses her power, and how much I love the sound effect.
Oh, that screech?
That re.
It was like music from Psycho.
It was so funny. I want that sound when I don't know, do anything.
Anything significant happens, and it's just...
Anything significant. Walking into work.
It's either that or like the sirens from Kill Bill. That
Oh yeah, that would be even better.
yeah, when she first uses her power, this is what I liked about this one a little bit is like it just happens. She doesn't really have control over what's going on.
Yeah.
And I feel like that is also kind of similar metaphor to her becoming a woman is like it's not really in your control. This is just kind of what your body's doing and what's happening.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now I have seen the remake of Carrie they did recently with Chloe Grace Moretz. Julianne Moore is the mother and Judy Greer is the gym teacher. Which the casting was fine. To me it was the writing, and it was because instead of like this one where it was very it's not in my control and it's just kind of happening, they made it like I mean eventually in this one she does get books and starts reading up on telekinesis and things like that just because she's confused as to what's going on with herself.
Yeah.
But in the remake you kind of see her like practicing in her room, and it was like it turned it into like a superhero origin story, and I was like, this is not what Carrie is. That's not the point of Carrie.
I immediately hate that. I haven't seen it. I haven't seen the remake, and I hate that.
I just don't think that was the whole point of Stephen King's story. It was more so like growing up dealing with bullies and trying to figure yourself out, and with not knowing who you are.
It was like very much like a bully story. It was, I mean, a story about bullying, not about a bully. It was a story about, I mean, she kind of becomes a bully at the end, but about bullying and about like just the uncontrollable changes in a woman's body, which Stephen King, of course, knows all about. He can write all about that. I think it's funny because when you read the book, it's obviously written by a man who doesn't fully understand. But, I mean, it came from a good place. I think, the things he does comes from good places. He's usually all about getting rid of ignorance and getting people to understand other people's points of view. And, he's a cool guy. But Stephen King's a cool guy. Which brings me to a not cool person, her mom. She's creepy as like that.
Oh
she's so creepy.
I'm sorry.
That hair, though.
Oh, the second you see the hair, you're like, this is a Bible thumper.
I mean, it was just way up to
This
God.
is a woman who would never touch her hair because teasing her hair would be of the devil. And I thought Piper Laurie did such a good job being that character, but watching that character as like an outsider, I'm like, oh my God, literally. I don't know how you would even go through life thinking that every single thing you do is a sin, and then you're pushing that on your daughter.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, just because she had her period, now she's a sinner. Because she's becoming a woman, she's a sinner now because of Eve. I'm just like,
I will never understand that.
I was like, there's no way, even in any other circumstance, that kid is turning out normal. Like, no way.
No. I love when I think this is the first time we see her when she's at someone else's house, when she knocks on their door and.
It's Sue's house. She's Sue's mom.
I think that my favorite part in that movie was her saying, "These are godless times," and then the mom saying, "Well, I'll drink to that." Then reconsidering what she's saying.
She's like, "Well, actually,"
that's so funny.
You're like, "Oh, I mean, water."
That fucking, I need it. We're gonna bleep everything, I'm sure. That statue of Jesus with the light up,
the glowing eyes.
I need that.
I had that in here because I was like, it's so creepy.
It's so creepy, but funny. I laughed when I saw it.
Oh yeah,
because I just thought it was absolutely hilarious.
The director was obviously trying to have some weird creepy moment with it because he does that zoom in on it and it's like right at his eyes, and I was like, okay, it is creepy, but it's also so over the top and ridiculous.
It was really over the top. It looked like a John Waters movie to me.
Oh, 100%.
It reminded me of Pecker, which I don't know if you've seen.
I have not seen Pecker.
Where there's the talking Virgin of Mary statue. It's like full of grace. It reminded me of that. It's so funny.
There's some things people do in movies that have like high religious content when it's like time to talking about it, and they do things with statues, and it's like supposed to be creepy, but sometimes it just comes off as funny.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you remember The Exorcist, where they like added boobs to the Virgin Mary and a huge penis, and it just looked kind of ridiculous.
I mean, it was hilarious. I kind of want that on my own like altar at home.
It's very campy, and I don't think that was purposefully campy.
No. I mean, I've seen it done well. Yeah. What did we just watched something together? Was it? It wasn't. It was a remake of something. What was it?
The Invisible Man?
No, Rosemary's Baby or something. I don't remember.
I can't remember.
But it was done really well. But this was just campy. Yeah. We can cut this part out. My favorite person in this movie was the badass PE teacher.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Slap Happy, yeah.
I mean, those kids deserved it.
Oh, 100%.
God, they deserved it.
I just loved that at least one of them, Sue, learned from it and was like, yeah, maybe I shouldn't be doing sort of a part of these people.
Yeah.
But like Chris, obviously share a name with the man.
Yeah, I mean, I share her name. I also can talk while I'm giving a blowjob too.
She was just like so in her own fantasy of just like I can do whatever the fuck I want.
Yeah, and it was like almost like a sociopathic obsession.
Oh my god.
With getting back at Carrie.
To the point that like I think like not only is John Travolta somewhat sexist and abusive, but you can tell it's like she's also manipulative. Like so it's just
yeah.
Also, I also wrote this down because their other friend, Norma, with the red hat and the rainbows all over it, and who kept wearing overalls, who looked like a lesbian Super Mario. And I was like, there's no way she's not a lesbian. I know she kisses Freddy at the end of the movie, but she's like, she's not a lesbian. No, she's definitely a lesbian. Like, she's got to be a lesbian. She fit those overalls way too well.
I started taking notes about like the prom at this point. Here's the thing. This movie, it started, the prom actually started in the movie. And I'm like, oh, okay, like how far in am I? And I'm like, oh, I still have an hour left, and the prom is the rest of this movie?
Prom is getting close, yeah.
The prom is like the last couple chapters in the book.
Oh, really?
Like, it's not, in the movie, it's the prom, the whole prom. The whole movie is just the prom.
So they take the climax of the book that was only 2 chapters and just made it the entire movie. They
really stretched it out. I mean, and they did stretch it out. There's a lot of like tension, like too much almost.
The one thing of the tension in that was Sue's watching Tommy and Carrie go up on the stage, and it's her looking from the string all the way up to the bucket of pig's blood, and I'm like, this is already an hour movie, just her watching this string.
Yeah, that was good, though.
It was really good tension, but at some point I was like, you could have cut a little bit of this. And I was like, this is going on for a while, and the gym teacher just like, I was like, at that point, I was like, she's pointing at the stage. Look where she's pointing. What are you doing? Like, she was like dragging her away after she saw her, thinking that she was doing something wrong. And I'm like, no.
Yeah, yeah.
Also, I would like to say here with Tommy's hair is magnificent.
Oh, yeah, it was.
The curls.
Yeah.
I was like, nobody rocks that anymore.
No,
what are we doing?
It all got smashed. Yeah. Could you not go to prom without a date? Because they said that.
I also wrote that down. I was like, she was like, you can't show up without a date, and I'm like,
I'm like, what? Was that must have been a thing up until a certain time.
It must have, because I don't remember ever that being a rule of like, oh, you don't have a date? Shame on you. You can't go to prom. What do you...
Yeah, like... I didn't think that was a thing still. I don't know. I didn't go to prom, so I'm like, I don't even know if it was a thing when I went there.
I mean, I went to prom,
it's none of your business when I went there.
I mean, I went to prom, but like my senior class was like 30 kids, and we had it at like the golf course at ASU in their tiny little like building, because there was like not that many of us.
Wow.
I was actually on the prom court.
Oh.
But I was nominated by the teachers. I was not going to win that.
Oh.
But Also, didn't get any pig's blood spilled on me, but if I did, they'd all be dead. I'm just gonna...
That was the only part of the movie that bothered me, was the animal cruelty.
I forgot that they even go and kill a pig to do that.
Yeah, and I knew it was coming, but like it just like I didn't need that.
We didn't need to see it.
I didn't need to see that. I knew the pigs were gonna get slaughtered anyway. They went to like a farm where they were gonna get killed anyway.
Yeah,
but like
you literally could have just had them go up to the farm, the pen, see the pigs, and you could have just had John Travolta holding the hammer and then cut away. You didn't have to see him like hitting them with it and then hitting the pig over the head.
Didn't need to see that. Unless, hey, you can go to the butcher and like get some pig's blood.
Which I literally thought in my head for some reason that's what happened. I forgot that they actually go and kill a pig to get the pumpkin of pig's
It's
blood.
so random. Like, yeah, you can just buy it. It's really cheap. No one wants it.
Oh my god!
It's like a byproduct of animal. Butchering.
Butchering.
What is it called? Animal cutting up.
Cutting that up. A pig cut up.
Yeah, that did bother me.
But yeah, the prom sequence was very long.
Yeah.
And I mean, I even forgot certain things, like the gym teacher dies for some reason. I thought she got spared, and I was like, I see that like basketball hoop thing like fall down and crush her, and I was like, oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no. Well,
I don't really remember if that happened in the book or not. I think everyone died in the book. I'm quite sure she died in the book.
I just feel really bad that Tommy died when he was just trying to like actually be a good person.
Was he?
I
don't buy that.
Here's the thing. I go back and forth on it because I know it's Sue's idea to have him ask her to the prom. And he's like reluctant about it, and then finally does it, whatever, and gets a little pushy. And I just feel like he still kind of has that 70s dude mentality.
True.
While he's doing it. But I feel like when they're at the prom, he seems more genuine about it because he's not around all those guys, so he's just with her.
That's true. You do get a sense that he's kind of like reconciling.
He's like warming up to the idea of like being there for somebody.
Yeah.
And so like it's kind of sad whenever like he gets hit in the head with a bucket and then eventually just dies because it like it just seems like he was like his arc was kind of just changing a little bit and just becoming like kind of how Sue was changing and becoming
that's true
better from those girls and stuff like that.
That's true.
But yeah, in the beginning I was like, he's still an ass. And then he like changes.
Yeah. I mean, as someone who was bullied a lot in high school, I good for you, Carrie.
Yeah.
Just kill them all.
Yeah.
Indiscriminate killing. It's fine,
I always loved that sequence. So there's something I put in my notes that there's a shot they've always done in the 70s. And they've done it in recent movies when they remake 70s movies and stuff. But there's this like, I don't know if you've noticed it. It's like a slow zoom.
Yes.
And it's it's always like a shift slow zoom thing.
It was at the very beginning.
Very beginning
the
on
court,
the mom. And on the court. They would do that slow zoom. I always love that because that's such a 70s shot.
Totally.
And they've used it in things recently, like when they did the first Omen movie, which was a prequel to The Omen that came out recently. There's a slow zoom on just like the plate glass window of Mary. And it's like that reads so 70s. And
it reads horror to me too, because I think
they do it in Amityville Horror. They do it in like it's just it's a very horror 70s shot.
Yeah.
And one shot I always liked in this one was the slow zoom on her as she's covered in blood and having a realization, and it's just all you can hear is Piper Laurie saying, "They're all gonna laugh at you.
They're all gonna laugh at you. They're all gonna laugh at you."
At that moment with her eyes, because like. She looks so beautiful, and then when she gets hit with the blood, I don't know what it is about that shot, but her eyes look a little bit more separated or something, and she looks different. Like, she looks like she's about to
That's true,
snap, and it's, like, such a good shot.
Beyond that, too, I love the editing for that part with the split screen.
The picture-in-picture.
That is so
It's so
good.
cool.
When it did that, because I've seen that scene before.
Where, like, she, like, looks at something, you hear that screech, and then it shifts her picture over, and then something happens.
So
it's so cool.
Yeah, that's so well done, and I really love that. Also, what was well done, and this was, like, so campy, but it was, like, my favorite technical thing of the movie when Carrie's mom says prom and there's a flash of lightning.
Oh
and
yeah,
thunder.
right on her face.
Right on her-
Prom.
It was like Vincent Price, like level.
It was
like...
so that was like very 50s Vincent Price horror
so
level,
good.
like House on Haunted Hill. Do you want to drink? Lightning flash.
and another masterpiece of cinema was the fashion montage when the boys were getting ready for prom. That was so stupid.
With the suits and the ruffles.
And unnecessary. And there was this weird like cutaway.
It was kind of adorable.
Thing.
To be
It was adorable, but there was this weird cut like in the middle of it. Maybe it was Netflix or whatever I was watching it on. But there was like this really strange like cut in the middle of it when they all switched places. It just didn't make sense. It didn't make sense at all.
I know.
Yeah.
There was another weird cut in the movie that I noticed in the very beginning, and I like literally rewound it because I was watching it on, I think, Amazon, and like stupid commercial thing happened in the middle of the cut. So I was like, is that really where the cut was? So I rewound it because it was like Sue talking to Tommy being like, I want you to get Carrie to the prom, and then it just immediately cuts to John Travolta in the car.
It did that
and
to me too.
I was like, is that an actual cut? Like, because that's very abrupt of an edit. Like,
yeah, that's funny because like it did that. I watched it on Amazon obviously too. I was thinking Netflix, but it cuts like right there, and
I literally was like, did it just jump 20 minutes into the movie? Like, did something happen with the edit of this?
It was like there was actually a commercial break in there. It was very weird.
Made for TV movie. Stephen King's got plenty of those.
I also wrote down that even their moms were complete assholes. The hair salon scene where they're like making fun of Carrie, the moms.
Oh god!
Like wow, like is everyone just an ass in this movie?
I mean, what do you got to do more in the 70s than gossip if you're like a white suburban mother?
That's true.
Like,
and the teens have nothing
with
better.
the long phone cord and the
Well, yeah. And the hair salon with the
hair salon and the dryer.
Everything. Yeah.
And oh yeah, because it was the girls getting ready for prom in the hair salon with the hair dryer and the.
Was it the girls?
It was the girls. I know they look like the moms.
Okay.
Because the one with the huge glasses. That was a part of the bitchy girl group.
I thought those were the moms. Do you know what?
Totally the kids.
That leads me to
that does not surprise me though. If it was the mothers, it would not have surprised me either.
There's something I wrote just under this that like teens had nothing better to do in the 70s than to look 45 as well. Like
what is? Oh my god! Seriously
seriously, I completely thought those were moms. Now you just blew my mind that those were the kids.
Those are the kids because one of them is the girl with the huge glasses.
They look so old.
They look. She looks older than the gym teacher. Which is crazy because like even Sue's mom in the beginning, like I felt like Sue's mom is actually pretty cool. I felt like she was pretty like is a pretty like chill person.
Yeah,
and like. Then you get the stark contrast with Carrie's mom. It's just like
those were like the normal too. I think there was the movie. I don't know if the book kind of led along these same lines, but the mom and Sue like they were like the normal people.
The ones who kind of we're just accepting.
They were really there. And they were like like the chill normal people.
Yeah.
Everyone else around them is like some type of sociopath. And
that's crazy to me.
I can see your dirty pillows.
Oh my god.
I love that so much. I can see your dirty pillows.
I remember her coming home and the mom just hiding behind the doorway in her room in the attic. I'm just like, what? Next to a mannequin, like next to like the fashion bust that she makes stuff on, and she's just sitting there next behind the door.
Do you know what is so funny is when I was a teenager and my mom was disappointed in me for something or upset, I would come home and she would be in the dark. She would have all the lights off on the couch waiting for me. It was so creepy. It was like it's like a movie or something when you come home and then they switch on the light.
Where have you been?
My mom did that though. So creepy. So creepy.
It's 30 minutes past curfew.
She was like, I'm just sitting in the dark. Don't mind me.
Also, I know it happens quick, but after the prom, when you have Chris and John Travolta's character driving the car, and she's just hell bent on just running Carrie over, and she just immediately looks at the car and it just flips and blows up. I know it's quick, and she probably deserved a longer death scene because she was a bitch, but it was still satisfying.
It is satisfying, and that's why the book is a little different. The book, the ending in the book is different. Yeah. I don't know if we're ready to talk about the ending yet, but before we talk about like the ending, I'm sorry, but I full on laughed when the bucket fell down and hit her date's head.
I'm sorry. I know it was supposed to be what knocked him out, but it kind of just looked like a love tap. I was like, is your hair not thick enough to...
It was like slapstick to me. I couldn't help it. I just thought it was really funny. The ending, though, I do want to talk about that because it is very different than the book. Things are out of order in the movie as well. So, Carrie goes home. Her mom stabs her in the shoulder. Yeah. That happens in the movie. Because
in the movie her mom stabs her in the back.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, it was just in the shoulder.
So it was in the shoulder.
Yeah.
In the book. Okay.
She stops her mom's heart, which is not nearly as dramatic as knives flying around and crucifying her against
and her what seemed like her having finally having like an orgasm of relief.
Exactly. Exactly.
With the way Piper Laurie played.
It was like visually more satisfying ending, obviously, for a movie. You need that. Yeah. But yeah, it wouldn't be that climactic if like her heart just stopped. You can't even see that happening. So I get it. And then Carrie calls all these rocks down like in boulders from like the hillsides around her, and like they all crush the house. But she gets out first. Like, Carrie gets out of the house.
Oh, so she's not in the house when it gets
Carrie
crushed.
is not in the house when it's destroyed in the book.
Okay.
She starts, like, walking away in a daze, basically. And then Chris comes with the car, and she flips it over. Yes, Chris lives, I believe. She gets out of the car.
Oh, damn.
And Carrie is dying in the middle of the road, and Carrie is calling out for her mother.
Is it from the stab wound?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then Carrie's calling out for her mother, and Carrie dies. And that's the end. That whole dream sequence that was in the end was really threw me, because I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Oh, yeah. Because that was like a really famous thing, I think, when the movie came out and stuff, was that moment of Sue walking up to what was a grave when really it's like the house got swallowed into hell. And then Carrie's arm popping out of the grave and grabbing her or whatever. And they even did that in the remake where she goes to an actual grave and then you see her. And then, like, it was like, that was kind of like a famous scene for the movie, but I figured that's not how the book
did it. That was not needed. To me,
plus the house was hit by boulders. I don't know if the director was trying to tell us something whenever she kills her overly religious mother, but then the house, because of that, gets swallowed into hell.
Yeah.
It kind of just seemed like the mom was right the entire time.
Exactly.
Which I don't think should have been the thing.
No, I felt like this weird, I didn't like it. And I didn't like her, like, going into the closet with her mom and dying in the house. I just didn't like that very much. I hate that she dies at all, Carrie. Like, I honestly, she should have lived and walked away from it. Made a new name and life for herself somewhere else. I would watch the sequel to that.
Oh, yeah. What's funny is
there started was a home for Wayward Magical Girls. I mean,
what's funny is there was like not a remake, a sequel. I don't know if it was like the 80s or 90s, but there was a sequel called like The Rage, Carrie 2, or something like that.
Oh my god, I've never seen that.
And I think I've seen it once, but I remember nothing about it. But now I'm watching this movie and I'm like, how did you do a sequel when she dies? Or when she, like, the house swallows itself into hell? Even if you were going off of that and going off the book, she still dies in the book. So how would you make a sequel out of that?
It's like an undead zombie Carrie or something?
Right?
I don't...
I'd have to watch it again, but
she's just walking up to boys going, "Are you going to prom with me?" She's just trying to have the perfect prom.
Perfect prom.
Over and over again, and she keeps killing people.
I honestly, like, I probably need to watch that one again. But I wasn't, I don't know. Yeah, the ending just bugged me a little bit only because of that whole, like, oh, it doesn't seem like she's the one crushing the house with her powers, and now it seems like it's getting swallowed into hell. So I guess the mom was right, and she should have just been, overly religious like her mother.
She should have been a good girl.
She should have just prayed to God.
Yeah. Pray to Jesus with the glowing eyes. I really need that.
Oh my God! And then the ending of the movie when the house is getting
oh
crushed,
God, yeah, it's back to that. I forgot.
it just zooms in on the Jesus with the glowing eyes as the house is getting crushed, and it's like the camera's like shaking. And I'm just like, he just loved this figurine with these glowing eyes, and it's so good. I need a bigger version of it. I need like one of those ones behind an altar in a Catholic church, but with the glowing eyes.
Yes. Oh my God. Well, this was a feel-good movie. It was a really good for you, girl kind of movie.
Yes.
Many artistic liberties taken from the book.
Some good, some that could have been a little better.
I'm looking forward to watching some more horror movies that I don't want to watch for this podcast.
Oh, yes, and so people know we are going to be making Chris watch movies that could not get through. They could not get through beforehand, and they will be getting through them now.
Yeah, next one's gonna have to be actually scary. This was not scary at all. This movie isn't really scary to begin with. It's more of like a psychological sort of.
It's like a thriller, psychological thriller. I thought, good jumping off point.
And campy too.
And campy.
My bread and butter is campy. I'm a John Waters. I'm a John Waters girl. I like Plan 9 from Outer Space.
See, she was a John Waters girl, and I'm just a Shining boy. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And I think even some that you will see when we start watching newer horror movies, that there are still some that, like, even if they are serious, do play up campy stuff inside of them.
They do. I've seen some of that. I have seen some Jordan Peele ones, and he definitely employs some of the campy, funny things, which I always love.
What helps with him too is his movies just feel like feature-length long episodes of The Twilight Zone.
They do.
Yeah.
Like they do. Huh.
So
not like the Twilight Zone movie where people died.
People actually died. We can even do that one. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah. Well, I had a good time.
So did I.
Yeah.
Because I didn't take Carrie to the prom. Just kidding.
Yeah. I would take Carrie to the prom.
I would take her to the prom.
She'd have a good time.
She would.
Yeah. There would be no sex.
No.
But, no.
But I would at least show her a good time.
Yeah, I'd show her a good time.
Yeah. And then maybe move her out of her mom's house and have her live with me.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I'm like, girl, you need to live with me. Like, this is, no.
You need somebody who's going to show you what it means to actually be a human person.
Yeah. I don't know if I can do that. But
or at least an alien.
So I hope you all had a good time too. And I hope you listen to our next one. I hope you, I don't know, subscribe or something. What do you do with podcasts?
At least give us a follow.
We will see it, something.
Yes.
Please.
And we will keep making more of these and talk about something that at least I am in love with, which is horror movies and just movies in general. So.
I'm getting to like the horror.
We're getting close.
Yeah.
So thank you for listening.
Until next time, I am Chris Chandler.
And I am Legend Logston.
Yeah, you gotta wait for me to finish my name.
That's fine.
Goodbye.
Bye.